That pleasant Nokia sound. Anyone in their 30s would fondly remember that typical music that would come to the ears as soon as a Nokia device would turn on. Here you can see, right, the date is of 2008. That's freaking 16 years, right? Setting the time even feels like a memory from the long gone past. So the Nokia N95 was the pinnacle of what keypad phones from Nokia would ever come to be. So this phone was announced somewhere in September 2006. It hit the markets in around mid of 2007. And yeah, that's typically when the smartphone revolution was making its greatest transition from keypad phones to the touchscreen phones. The touchscreen ones hadn't even come at that point of time. People were just having the rumors of touchscreen phones. The Nokia N95 was a multimedia powerhouse. Just look at it from all the different sides, right? You don't see these kind of form factors in the phones nowadays. Now phones are typically having one or the other typical, what to say, look and feel. These are all glass slabs with a screen at the front and the same glass design at the back with a metal housing. But the phones during those days were completely different. So that's why Nokia N95 has been at the center of my tech nostalgia coverage for quite some time. It's one of those kind of devices, right? I had also covered the PlayStation Portable in the past. Nokia N95 is the PlayStation Portable for smartphones. So the device ran Symbian 63rd edition or S60 version 9.2. Symbian was what Android is nowadays. Long gone are the days when each and every smartphone typically had to be a Symbian one to just call themselves smart. So just look at as soon as you turn it on, right, you would have these basic setup screens where you can basically run through the various features of the device. So the Nokia N95 covered 5 key aspects of smartphones, right? It's a multimedia powerhouse. So it has the best audio and video capabilities possible in a device back in 2007, right? It had a high quality audio player with a 3.5 jack, the best camera possible in a smartphone at that time, a 5 megapixel camera. Fourthly, it had covered everything that one could expect from a handheld device in terms of web surfing and web browsing. And fifthly, it was a gaming powerhouse. So Nokia at that point of time was also focusing very aggressively on Engage gaming platform, and this was an Engage device. So we'll get into the details of all these specialities going forward. Now coming back to the music player, it had a very dedicated music interface. You can see the In My Heart soundtrack that was loaded by default on this device, and using the dual slider it completely turned itself into a pocket multimedia player. Just look at this. The way it slid from the top to bottom is something that is not there even in current day devices. So moving to the video playback capabilities, the Nokia N95 featured an accelerometer so you could watch all the videos in landscape mode. It also has a TV out port via the same 3.5 jack. So whatever videos you could shoot or you could store on the device, you could watch the same on your TV. How cool is that? I mean, back in 2008, we were having devices like this. And just look at the visuals even on the device itself. I mean, the way the form factor of the device, it looks like a display in front of you, mind you. But the phones at that period were having these huge keypads, and the display was just covering, let's say, around 30 to 40% of the front screen. But look at this, it looks like a portable video player. So just enjoy this demo video of the N series devices that came preloaded with the device itself. to store all your videos and the high definition footage you clicked with the camera, it had support of micro SD expansion. Although the official support was, I think, 1 GB, I remember having used a device with even 8 GB cards. So memory, yes, was sort of unlimited given the context of when the device came out. So whether it was on this beautiful screen on the device itself or extended to, let's say, your television, you were ready to go with all the video content possibly that you can keep along with you. Now moving to the camera, which was one of the biggest highlights of the device. It came with a large 5 megapixel camera, the best in class camera present at that time. Apart from the main camera, it also had a frontal SIF camera for your video calls, as well as some some very initial days of selfies that you would have taken, right? And the camera also supported VGA video recording at 640 by 480 resolution, which meant so you also got the best in class video recording possible in a handheld device at that point of time. Now the camera, if you look into the options, it was an extremely feature rich camera with options of single shot, burst modes. It had a flash, and it was also powered by Carl Zeiss optics, which meant the best in class camera that you can get in a handheld was available with you all the time, right? You could set any sort of color tones, you could set different other features like timers, you had grid lines to help you assist in your shooting, you had white balance for the various lighting conditions, you had a very good exposure balance, you had very good compression options. So the camera was extremely feature rich. I mean, even the feature camera, even the point and shoot cameras that were available at that period were actually falling way behind when you look at the options that were there in the N95 camera. I'll just keep on showing you some bits of the UI, and I'll also try to show what the front camera actually looked like. So it was a very basic one. You can see I did this recording on my iPhone 13. I no longer have my iPhone 13 now. I just moved to an iPhone 15 Pro a few months back. But yeah, so now we have cameras capable of doing entire shoot quality recordings. But there was also a time when the kind of video recordings that the N95 made were also like the best in class out there. So the way technology changes, it's very gradual, but when you look at the same and compare over the years of how the change has happened, for example, the 16 years from when this device came out versus the iPhone 15 Pro that I currently have, right, then only you'll be able to grasp the change in visuals that have happened. However, the most changes would have happened in videos. I'll just show you some still images captured by the N95 and just look at it. Here is a shot of my iPhone 15 Pro shot on the N95, and you can see, right, the image qualities are not that bad. Even if you compare with a basic Android device right now, you would see that the details are still there. It's able to capture even the text on the keyboard, right? It's able to capture the colors and the textures of the fruits quite nicely. So in good light, I don't think the Nokia N95 is completely to be written off under current scenario, but video is somewhere where the changes are of quite observable. First, you would see, right, the video shakes a bit. So even though while recording the video was completely stable and all, there is a slight jitter that's there in the video. And the quality of the video, again, it's a VGA quality video, right? So at that point of time, this would have been like mind-blowing, but now you can see that the video has aged. So you can clearly see, right, that the clarity is missing in the video. But the fact that a device was able to do all these like so many ages back is still something extremely commendable. This was actually the device with which people actually started accepting smartphones as a replacement of each and every electronic item, be it a smartphone, be it a, let's say, PC, be it a camera, be it a music player, be it even a GPS. So this was one of the first devices that also came with an inbuilt GPS module, so you could even use offline maps on it. Now let's move to the third biggest feature, right, which is its internet connectivity. So you can see the device is still able to connect to my home Wi-Fi. So here I initially had some issues connecting it to my home Wi-Fi, but after some playing around I was able to connect it, and I could even open Google on the default browser. So a very basic search, just today's news, I just searched it up on Google to see whether it's able to relay any data, and you would be amazed that even after so many years, right, even after so many years, if you just hit on the search button, it will connect to my WLAN, my router, which is not even a year old, and it's still able to show the web versions of the websites. Now I also tried clicking some of these links to see whether the page is open and all, but there were various security reasons, I'm not sure what these are, due to which the pages would not open. Same thing I tried with the different images or some other websites. I tried to open some YouTube videos also, these were not opening. But I feel that if I tweak around a bit, if I experiment for some time, I would be able to maybe make some digital multimedia online also open up on the device. So we are quite a bit long into the video. There are so many things to talk about the phone that just the video keeps on going longer and longer. So I'll just come to the last big call out of the device, which is the Engage gaming platform. Now, Nokia, being the pioneer in handheld mobile technology, had realized quite early in its days that gaming on handhelds are the next big thing to become, right? So that's when they started building the Engage gaming platform. Now, that's a different story, that the platform didn't succeed, and the Engage as a gaming platform died very soon after it actually came live. So that's it. Another long tech nostalgia videos can come out based on the first Engage device, the Engage QD, and the movement of Engage towards the N series devices and all. But here is a glimpse of a few games that had come out. So this is Asphalt, and just look at the graphics of the device. I mean, it was mind blowing. One of the best playable games on handheld at that time, both in terms of the visual quality as well as the contentment that one would get by playing the game. Similarly, the next one that I want to show is FIFA. Again, you have to realize that this is something that was running on a device 16 years back, right? Just look at the quality of graphics and the playability, given that with the top slider you had some dedicated keys, right? So the music controls at the top of the sliding panel would also turn out to be the gaming keypad for Engage. So with this, you already have seen, right, the device was completely a bombshell in terms of what all features it offered at the point at which the device actually came out. I am extremely grateful that I was able to get hold of the device. I even have this in my drawer, and from time to time I would just take it out to just admire what tech actually provided us, and be amazed how we have moved over the years. Nokia as a brand, as a manufacturer, is almost on its way out now. There are hardly any devices that Nokia comes up with now. And again, I mean, it's not a brand per se now, a brand that manufactures or innovates new devices. It's just a tag that is used by the owners of the brand name currently. And even HMD has also given up on on Nokia now. So the word nostalgia in itself means that something that we cherish now, but something that no longer exists in the condition that it existed in the past, right? Nokia went down from, let's say, over 70% market share of smartphones to becoming something non-existent now. which means that however strong one might be, however big one might be, everything has a time after which it will subside. Until next time, see you.